Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to show you and talk about one of the feature of Entra ID, right? So that's the one of the feature which is going to notify us all about the brand new features as well as brand new recommendations that we should look into it, right? In order to improve on Entra ID secure score, right? So Entra ID secure score is dependent on all other different capabilities or all other different features that are already inbuilt, right? And it is going to generate all those recommendations, and it's also going to help us to improve on secure score, right? So I'm going to show you how we can work on those recommendations that Microsoft and Entra ID is generating together for whole tenant, and all those recommendations would help us to improve on secure score, right? And also there is one of the small feature, but that's really helpful for IT pros and IT administrators, because it is going to notify to all those administrators saying that, okay, this respective recommendation is popped up for your tenant, and definitely you can go ahead and work on it to improve on your secure score, right? And the secure score is something which always keeps changing based on the different aspects, different attributes, different capabilities of the tenant and configurations that we have, because it totally depends on how we are going to configure user identities, application access for users, group management, and a whole lot of other configurations. It is not considering, or it is not staying on a single configurations or single settings, but there are so many factors to make it consider or take it in considerations in order to change the secure score for the whole tenant, right? So let's jump on to the demo, and I'm going to show you how we can go ahead and look into the recommendations as well as the setting that I was talking about, right? So let me share my screen quickly here, and that's going to be a short video, but still it's very important to go through, and it should be known to each and every administrator, right? So here you can see I'm on Entra Admin portal, and I have the right set of role here, right? And you can see I am on the home page, so I can see all the different cards and everything. Also, I can see identity secure score for the whole tenant across the Entra ID tenant. And the one which I'm going to show you, it's under the identity and overview page over here, right? And we would see all the other different feature highlights along with the fields and other details, right? So one is the feature that I'm going to talk about is under the recommendations, right? So recommendations are generated by Entra ID capabilities based on the existing configurations for the whole tenant, but whatever we have configured, and it's going to make sure it's going to show us what we have configured, what is the new recommendations to improve on, so that we wanted to improve on secure score for the tenant, and it's going to improve on all over the tenant, right? So you can see that we have an identity secure score, which is a 71.97, which is quite good, right? And there are some of the recommendations which we can go ahead and work on it and improve the secure score as well, right? So these are the different recommendations. There are 17 only because this is a pure cloud only environment. But when it comes to the hybrid environment, or the environment which is a very big and large and broader across the different maybe geolocations or different applications and everything together tied up, then there would be so many different recommendations based on that as well. And definitely organization has to look into it and make the right set of adjustments for the tenant, so that they can also work on the identity secure score and recommendations to improve on, right? So you can see that at the top here we have different categories to filter it out. 6 are best practices, 11 are security recommendations. And if we click on each of those, we would see the filters, right? And those are the filters applied. Wherever you see the completed, that means we have completed those recommendations, and wherever you see the active, that means those are yet to be completed. And you can see the secure score points, 9 out of 2.46 point are achieved out of 9 points, right? And here you can see release type as a release or generally available. That means all these are the recommendations available, and those are generally available for whole tenant for all customers, right? Also, you can see that required licenses and try P1, P2. So wherever that license or that recommendation is applicable, even you can see enter ID free plan as well, right? And impact resource type, right? So that is also important wherever it is going to be impacted. Users tenant level, right? That is also important, and you need to make sure and understand whether it is on a user impact level. Then definitely we should go ahead and take the appropriate steps to implement it so that we are not keeping anything vulnerable across the tenant, and wanted to make sure it is up and running as expected, right? All right. All right. So as I was talking about all the recommendations as well as on the impact resource or impacted resource type that we definitely should take care of, and then make sure we work on it so that we also not only work on the improving secure score, but also working on the overall security posture of the tenant and whole organization, because that's also very important. Otherwise, it's going to be something like we may not take effective activities or effective changes or effective work on it, then probably it's going to be a kind of vulnerable for whole tenant and user base, right? So that way we should take care of all these recommendations and handle it. And each of these filters, you can see that which applications or which resource is impacted. So you can see that if I click on best practices, you would see all those applications are impacted, and those are available for free tenant or free Entra ID license, then Entra ID workload ID, along with you can see the status of each, right? And those are in preview, right? So those would also show up here so that we can also take appropriate actions, whether it is applicable for our tenant or organization. And if yes, then we should definitely go ahead and try to remediate it as soon as possible and make sure tenant is not vulnerable at all, and improve on secure score as well. Because many organizations do have their own internal security and compliance requirements. At the same time, different client requirements come up saying that how much is your organization safe and secure in terms of, if I wanted to ask for a secure score of the tenant, secure score of your on-premises or be it a cloud environment, then would you be able to show it? If yes, then definitely you should showcase that capability so that whatever the project or requirements client is asking for, because they wanted to make sure their data, their communication is being also secure, right? Otherwise, if the data and communication is not secure, that means client does not have the trust, and that is very important to build that trust. Otherwise, the client may not put the project on, or maybe there is no deal of the project at all, right? So those are the different requirements as well, which keeps coming up, and organization has to work on it, right? So this is also very important in that perspective from the security and compliance view as well, right? And the setting which I was talking about, I'm going to show you that that's pretty a small and straightforward setting, which is over here, which is email setting. If you click on it, it will show up a small pop-up at the right side over here and show up something like email notification settings for the whole tenant. And there's only one single checkbox which says send email notifications for tenant recommendations, right? If that is set up, that means we can simply go ahead and click on it, right? And that is saved and checked. That means it is going to send all those notifications whenever there's a new recommendation generated by Entra ID and its algorithms in the backend. And if it is not available, then there is no notifications. But if you turn it off, you won't get any such notifications by email, right? And for this, you should have at least minimum of admin access on Entra, right? Including global administrators, as well as there are certain roles available. Those roles also be a part of this email notifications, and all those notifications gets to those people who have access to those right set of uh, admin portals, right? So this is the setting that is pretty straightforward, and you can go ahead and set it up, right? So now I have set it up already. That is why you can see the checkbox is already marked. And if you wanted to disable it, I can simply just uncheck and save the setting or submit this one, and it is going to disable it. So we don't have to, or we will not receive any email communications or notifications. But I would not disable it because that's recommended one, and we wanted to see each and every recommendation, and it is an opportunity for us to improve on our secure score as well as secure posture or security posture for the whole tenant, and is going to help us identify all those loopholes or maybe anything that is really not configured, but we may miss it or we might have missed that before, right? So it's going to give that clarity for us to take actions, and we would be able to take actions and make it right, right? So this is the setting that I was talking about, and this is overall very important as well for improving secure score as well as for improving post security posture of the tenant and organization together, right? So yep, that's all for this video. I wanted to show you and talk about it. Hope you will like it. Hope you learn something new. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and people around you so that they can also know and learn it. And probably they would get a chance to work on this, majorly on the recommendations to improve on secure score, along with working with the security and compliance teams to make sure their tenant has improved score, and they will keep it up to the level so that the clients and projects, and maybe there is such requirements where they wanted to do the assessment of the whole tenant, it is going to help them to improve and work on that as well, right? So yeah, that's all for this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you will get to see every new video whenever it is uploaded and available on the channel. So yeah, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.